Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu rasulillah. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Why would a woman have desire or want more men? Not her husband, but more men. Not another lover on the side, but more men. Have attraction for so many more men. Is this the nature of women, or has female nature denaturized itself, corrupted? Do women have polygamy or polyandry at the core of their heart, in their behavior, or is this something that is very, very new? So we are going to understand the difference between polygamy, polygyny, and polyandry, and many things as to why women today have these behaviors where they desire more men. But if you like this video, make sure you hit a like, subscribe, share it with other people, and also make sure that you go into the description of this video and support the dawah, support the work, become a monthly donor to help me continue educate people on these topics from the Quran and Sunnah. So let us start. Why would a woman want more than her husband? Let's say she's not married. Why would she want to have multiple partners? What is it in women? When in general society and history has described women as monogamous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْأَفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ. We will show them our signs in the horizon themselves. وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Another ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created men and women very different. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنثَى. And the man is not like the woman. So what is going on? Guys are asking me, I had a question yesterday, please talk about why women, for example, cheat online. They stay married, but they still cheat online. Why is it that they want to talk? I had a client who recently caught his wife talking to multiple men online very intimately, like disgustingly describing a sexual behavior to men who are strange. They're not even like her lovers, they're just strange men, discussing even what she's doing with her husband. Why would she do that? Why many other women go on these type of discussions? Why do women watch pornography today? And all kinds of crazy porn, and we have the statistics for that. Dear sister, sorry, but when you accept all cookies, basically your data is being collected. And these big corporations, they know exactly what you're looking at because they want to give you more of that to make more money, even though you think it's free. Even though you think you're using a VPN, even though you think you're using this and that and you're safe, you are not. Everyone knows basically what people are looking at. That's how the world works. Now, why are women even saying, like you'll find women asking questions to sheikhs. Oh, why did Allah allow women to marry more men? Or even more so, um, well, if men get Hur al-Ain in Jannah, are women going to be allowed to have multiple men in Jannah and slave boys and all these things? SubhanAllah, it blows your mind what women ask these days. Why is it? What is the nature of women? And what is the corruption? Which one is it? Is it really in their nature, polyandry, or is it really something that's changed with time? Let us explore a bit now. But again, if you guys like this video, make sure you go in the description and support this work so I can continue to do these videos. They're trying to take me down. I'm starting new channels. I'm working extra over, inshallah, but you can support this. So let's get into it now. According to my research and my studies, looking at the deen, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has laid down the sharia in terms of the woman and the man, they are quite different. How the woman in herself, as Allah says, وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ, the woman releases one egg. She can only handle one pregnancy from one man. The lineages will be mixed. There's huge haram when it comes to that, not knowing who the father is, and of course the concept of zina, or women cheating. Yet still, we find that women are doing it today. So in the biological program from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, women are monogamous. Some cultures, such as South Africa and others, have had this type of practice of polyandry, where women have multiple husbands. May Allah guide those people. But their bodies are not lying. They are lying. Their culture is lying. Their practices are lying. You cannot lie. Your biology, your DNA, the way, no matter how much you force it. Just like homosexuality, no matter how much you force it, your body will not lie. A woman cannot impregnate another woman. A man cannot impregnate another man. It's simple. Same thing, a woman cannot have multiple partners, even though it's possible in doing it. It's not in line with the fitra. There's a difference between being able to do something. You can force a square into a triangle shape. 100% you can smash it in, but it just doesn't fit there. That's just the easy way to put it. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes things very, very clear. But still, the issue stands. What has happened? So it's not their nature. They shouldn't do it. Women are monogamous. Their emotions are fixated on one man, but things have changed. Now their emotions, their desires, their sexual behaviors are now changed. And it goes back to what I talk about many, many times. And there is a study that looked at 1,000 women in Germany and compared it to different data. And there's a good article. Rory Reid, who is an assistant professor and researcher, psychologist at the University of California in Los Angeles, he talks about this study. And he basically has an interesting conclusion that I want you to understand. He basically says about hypersexuality in women and what has happened. Why are women hypersexual? Because when you want multiple partners, you're in a sense hypersexual. You are, you want more intimacy. Women in general didn't have that same type of level of libido as men would have had. Now, he talks about the effects of pornography. He talks about the effects of, cheating and, well, basically in a sense of how things have become and have changed. But he makes a very, very interesting statement. And he says that even himself has looked at so many different hypersexual behaviors in women and men as have compared it. This is the study here. Okay, so nearly 1,000 women in Germany, okay, college students. And it says, ask them how frequently they masturbated, watched porn, and how many sexual partners they had. Okay, and funny enough, basically, there was a lot of misconceptions but these misconceptions are linked to what? To how women used to be, right? In general, society believed that women engaged in more passive forms of sexual behavior. But it seems that this now contradicted that thing. But why would we, as a society, till today, it will be hard for people when I say this to believe, because that was the nature of women. But it changed. New studies are showing that it changed. Yes, men are still, there's other studies also that show that men are still more hypersexual than women because that's their nature, it's in their biology. But women are now catching up. What is the issue? Well, they're becoming masculinized. They are matching, as Ray is saying, that they're matching what? They're matching masculine behavior. Their masculine sexual behavior is being matched by women, okay? Which was not something that you would find in reality. That was not something that would actually happen in reality, all right? So, interestingly enough, though, he says, and look here, this is the most important part. He says, however, the new study found that hypersexual women were more likely to be bisexual than were the rest of the participants. In contrast, hypersexual men tend to be heterosexual, Reid told Live Science. Now, if we go to the study, and you can see the study here, it's self-report indicators of hypersexuality, and it correlates in a female online sample. And this is done by Verena Klein and done by Martin Rettenberger, PhD. And this is in the Journal of Sexual Medicine. Now, interestingly enough, again, when you look through what is being said, women are now matching more and more what? They're matching more and more, not only masculine sexual behavior, but in general masculine behavior, which indicates that there's been a corruption of the fitra. Now, what Reid was saying to journals, to Life Science, he was saying that these women who participated or showed this hypersexuality, this masculine behavior, were identified mostly as bisexual. Again, why? Because there's a shift in attraction when someone, uh, well, it's clothing condition in a sense, related anyway. When someone behaves, feels like a man more and more, there's still obviously the female element, and that's why the bisexuality is not fully yet. It's not fully transitioned on the other side of the fence, as it is for most women. Obviously, also the identity issue, the moral dilemma, and so on that would push women to not fully transition. But you see in the behavior of butch lesbians, for example, who are fully masculine. They're called studs, by the way. Studs as in STUDS, like male studs, which fully transitioned into that behavior, masculine, their short boy cuts, the way they dress, the way they behave, hyper masculine, even actually more masculine than many men. But the other women are still in a limbo, in a double strategy, a mixed strategy, bisexuality. They have the attraction for women because they feel like men, but they're still women and still have some attraction for men because they kind of shift. There's that shift, right? But bottom line is what I'm saying is that women are leaning towards this polyandry, having multiple partners, desiring multiple men, because again, it matches a masculine pattern of behavior, of sexual behavior, which is the need for variety, which is the need for multiple partners. This is in men, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has restricted it to 4. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells in the Quran, فَانْكِهُ مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ مَثْنَى وَثُلَاثَ وَرُبَاعَ. In Surah Nisa. So marry from the women of your choice, 2, 3, or 4. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly stated. Now, women are now being manly. They want 2 or 3 or 4 men. They go online and seek these virtual, at least polyandry type of behaviors. If they're not doing it in real life, some are doing it in real life, some are cheating. So many cases I have of women cheating on their husbands. Still trying to stay in the marriage though. Some of them. Before, women would be linear. If there would ever be a cheat, that's one thing that's changed as well. If a woman would ever cheat, she would literally just shift, change the man, divorce him, khalas, is out. And you find many people still believing that that's the case. While still there is this kind of incidence, most women now are okay to cheat with multiple others. They still stay committed in a marriage, which men would kind of do before. Women would cheat linearly. They would have to finish this relationship and move to the other one. Men would be able to go multiple women because, again, it's haram, but it's kind of in line with their biology. It's kind of like, again, cheating is haram. I'm just giving it as an example, right? But let's stay within halal, for example, that man would go to 4 different wives. Now, it's almost like the woman wants to go to 4 different husbands. Why? Because her fitra has changed. And that's what I'm saying to the sisters. You're destroying yourself. The only difference is that you will never be able to be a real man. No matter how much you do, you'll never be able to. You're only going to destroy yourself through practicing this kind of behavior. Not only the polyandry and the promiscuous online behavior, but also the change of your nature, being more masculine, doing more boxing, more powerlifting, more all kinds of events, everything except anything feminine. The massages are encouraging it, putting wrestling, classes for sisters under self-defense, boxing classes for sisters under self-defense. Nothing to do with knitting, sewing, cooking, cleaning, how to beautify themselves for the husband, how to understand their, the motherhood and how to really, be more feminine. Not how to walk more like a woman, how to dress more properly and appropriate. All these things, nothing. The messages don't do anything. But boxing classes, self-defense, in the name of self-defense. Brother, shouldn't women know how to self-defense? I didn't say they shouldn't. But do they have to do it every single week? Do they have to get big muscles and lift parties and all the sisters are like, yeah, come on, man, right? It's ridiculous what they see. They want to be men. The world is pushing them to be men. And what's happening is that their fitra is changing, being corrupted. And hence this kind of behavior that we've seen in this article and in the interview that Raid has given to the Live Science Plus our community. And again, I just want to finish with what Raid says. He says, however, the new study found that hypersexual women were more likely to be bisexual than were the rest of the participants. In contrast, hypersexual men tend to be heterosexual, Raid told Live Science. Again, why? Because men, it's in their fitra, It's always been, it's aligned with their fitra. So there's no corruption in general on that. As for women, it's not in their fitra, and they are changing themselves and now becoming bisexual because it's not in line. So they're kind of women, but they like women, but they want to be men, but they're switching back to women. They're switching back and forth depending also on hormones and so many different things that happen throughout the month. That's what happens with women. But with men, it's in line with their behavior. Again, we don't condone anything haram, but even just within the halal boundaries, men have always been, their hypersexuality is in line in a sense with their fitra, which what Allah has allowed them to marry for wives. Let me know what you think. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, if you do, make sure you subscribe, you like, you support the da'wah. Look in the description, click that link and become a monthly supporter for me to continue to do this work. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.